All right, y'all, welcome back. Now we're gonna talk about throwing mugs, okay? The body of a mug. One, is it much different than a cylinder? No. Is it much different than a tumbler? No. It's just maybe a little bit more intense of a form change, okay? It's a little bit more dramatic in some of the manipulation of the clay, and we're working in increments to get better. So this is the next step. We still need to learn how to throw vertically, and we need to learn how to manipulate that clay. So we're gonna start 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, okay? We don't wanna be making small cups. Don't forget everything shrinks in this class. So if you make a cup and you love the height of it, it's not gonna be that height when it's done. So go ahead, make sure you make something just slightly bigger than you want. Take that clay, make sure it has a convex bottom, throw it down on the wheel. Let's get started. So we're gonna cone and chop this, get this piece of clay centered just like every assignment, okay? Don't skip this process. If you don't know how to do this, ask. You need to learn. It's a hard thing to fake, okay? So learn how to center in. We're gonna enter and open now. A few different styles. I'm gonna make with a wider base and kind of a tight shoulder there. So many different styles of mugs. We'll throw a bunch during the semester. If you wanna make something but you don't know how to make it, ask me. I'll sit down and throw it for you. We'll talk about the nuances of that form and let's get it done. Okay, so we're gonna enter here, we're gonna open. Flatten out the bottom here. And for this assignment, you need to make 2 mugs and they need to have pulled handles, okay? Handles will be a different video, but you need to make 2 mugs. I would encourage you to make 2 different forms. Don't make the same pot, don't make a straight cylinder. Let's spend some time really pushing ourselves to get better. And let's go ahead and make 2 different shapes. So we're gonna pull this up to start. Still pushing to the center, just like our cylinder. Coming up here. Okay, so we got some height here. Now this one's gonna have a wide base, a little bit of a tight shoulder, and then a kind of a tall neck on it. I think that's kind of an interesting form. If you're struggling with mug forms, go ahead and start looking on Instagram, look at Pinterest, go look at the mug collection that's floating around the room. Ask people, I got plenty of magazines, right? Let's find pots that we like and let's start to figure out what we like about them and implement those into our work. So I'm starting to manipulate this just like when we made our tumbler, using my sponge in my hand, adding pressures here in order to create ins and outs of my pot, just like so. Okay, now I've kind of roughed out the shape, time to start using ribs. I'm actually gonna transition to a wooden rib here. Maybe not. Okay, so I'm gonna use a rib to go ahead and change this form. So I'm gonna push here at the bottom. I kinda want a volcano shape into this waist, okay? And we need to start breaking up form. I know there's a handle that's gonna go on here, so I need to create some negative space in there for my handle to fit. What's gonna look good with my handle? Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up and then to about there, and I'm gonna straighten this guy up a hair. Okay. Now I don't think there's not enough distinction between the waist and the top, so I'm gonna push and pull using the corner of that rib. Kind of don't like this area right here. Again, when we're talking about form, what is it? It's the interaction between the positive and the negative space and the line that is drawn. Okay, so if I look to the side and I see this line, there's things I like, things I don't like. Down here, I don't really like this, so I'm gonna add a little pressure from the inside out to lift it up. And then I'm gonna push in again, which gives me a little more volume right there. Okay, I think I like that a little bit more. And this can be a process. You don't have to do it in the first shot. I seldom ever do, right? Like sometimes it turns out good, but that right there I kind of like. Okay, I think it has some nice form there. I think this part needs to swell out just a little bit more. Just like that. And now I have this kind of triangular shaped mug form. And then I need to go through all the different processes in order to make this pot ready to take off the wheels. So, touch up my rim. Again, we need to make sure this rim quality is nice. It's gonna be put in our mouths. No sharp edges, okay? No really thick rims. We've kind of already ribbed it in our shaping process, but if I have an area that needs to be ribbed off again, I can go through and do that. Okay, I'm leaving some of this texture behind, that's totally fine. Okay, just do it by choice, don't do it by accident. Okay, clean that up. Go ahead, this pot does not have very much extra clay on the outside. I'm gonna cut that down to remove any extra here. Recycle this. Go ahead, grab my sponge, make sure we clean out the water. If we don't clean that out, what's gonna happen to your pot? It's gonna end up cracking, okay? Don't forget it, spin that wheel. Let's soak up this water. Okay, once that's done, clean our hands off. Use your sponge to clean them off and use your towel to dry them. Then you don't have to stand up and go to the sink, right? It's all about efficiency in this class, getting stuff done. Take our wire tool, we're gonna cut it off just like a cylinder. We go down to the bottom, tip back, lift straight up. Okay, and that's gonna go straight onto a bat. I don't have one sitting right here, but lift that off onto a bat. Let this dry. We need to trim the bottom before we add our handle. Again, the handle is another video. So if you're struggling to make handles, watch that video, practice your handles. Have fun with mugs. Mugs are an awesome object. I really love making them. And there's so many different forms you can create. So be creative, have good craftsmanship, and keep making pots.